Thanks so much for watching my original Star Wars trilogy so far, but if you're new here, I would seriously recommend watching all my other videos to catch up. Now, this will be the start of my second movie called Star Wars House Vul. This movie will pick up about a year or two after the events of the first movie, Star Wars Unbalanced. Alright, so after the opening crawl, the movie will start off right into a massive space battle, much like the beginning of the third movie. The scene starts off with Phasma, Jannah, Nentra, Shamp, and Latara in a GDA transport ship with several GDA soldiers as well. The ship is communicating with Poe simultaneously using a hologram. The situation is dire, as an alien race known as the Goriks have launched an all-out attack on the planet of Kashyyyk. The Gorik race can only live on an environment with extremely high temperatures, and as a result, the Goriks have a large space station capable of terraforming an entire planet into their ideal hot ecosystem. The station is made up of 5 ovals. The central one is a magnifying glass that uses the power of the sun to heat the planet while the others insulate. GDA had just rolled up with their battleships and deployed several fighters and transport ships in order to engage the invasive Goriks. Poe states how the GDA has enough firepower to destroy the Gorik space station, yet the time it would take to destroy the station would be too long and the entire planet of Kashyyyk would be lost to flame. Jannah states how a scan of the station reveals that the interior is over 200 degrees. This is to suit the Gorik's temperature needs. Phasma states that the station must be heated by some mechanism, and if they are able to lead a strike team into the station and get control of the station's heat supply, it would render the Goriks helpless, resulting in their surrender. The 2 transport ships make their way through the space battle, utilizing the dual manned turrets on either side of the transport ship. The transport ships then all land in the hangar on the Gorik battle station and unload the troops. Everyone must put on a GDA suit in order to survive the heat within the station. Phasma's suit from Rise of Skywalker works as well. Several troops stay behind and guard the hangar with GDA soldiers. Shamp, Latara, Phasma, Nentra, and Jannah lead in. Halfway through the battle station, the gang gets separated by a sliding door in the hallway, resulting in 2 squads, one with Shamp, Jannah, and Nentra, and a couple GDA troops, while the rest of the troops are with Phasma and Latara. A squadron of Goriks led by a commander had been the ones who'd closed the door and now can ambush Shamp's squad. Shamp urges Latara and Phasma on the other side of the door to make it to the heat control. Reluctantly, the gang of Phasma and Latara make it to the heat control center and fight for control with several oppressive Goriks. Phasma makes use of her submachine gun, similar to hers in Battlefront 2, and Latara slices through Goriks with her double-bladed lightsabers that can separate into 4 single-bladed sabers. Meanwhile, Shamp, Nentra, and Jannah have to fight off the Gorik commander, who's using electro lightsaber blocking gauntlets, along with a couple Gorik warriors. This battle causes Luke to lose communication with Shamp, and he senses Shamp is in danger. This leads Luke to try to convince Poe to let him go and join the invasion, but Poe not only agrees, but requests to go as Luke's pilot. He misses the battles as well. Luke and Poe then take a transport ship to try and aid in the battle on the Gorik battle station. They fly through the space battle and appear to be outnumbered, but then Luke goes insane beast mode by force controlling all the turrets on the transport ship and blasting all the Gorik ships out of the sky. They then land in the Gorik hangar and Luke goes to find Shamp. He finds Jannah is currently fending off all the Gorik troops with her upgraded bow, and Nentra is trying with her pistol, except Shamp is obviously losing to the Gorik commander. Luke walks in as Shamp gets picked up and sucker punched across the room by the Gorik commander. Luke then engages the commander in battle and easily cuts off his hands, rendering him useless. At this time, Phasma gets control of the heat system and turns off the heat, rendering all the Goriks on the battle station incapacitated. Luke quickly walks over to the fatally injured Shamp, who coughs and thanks Luke for all he taught him about the Force. Turns out an old dog can learn new tricks. And introduces himself and instantly challenges Bor Vizsla to single combat that he knows Bor must accept by the Mandalorian code. Bor laughs and asks why. Ben says that if he loses, he will give Bor his lightsabers, but if he wins, Bor must give him some information. Bor laughs again and asks what information is worth fighting a Mandalorian house leader for. Ben just replies, "I guess you'll have to wait till I beat you to find out." The House Vizsla leader accepts, on the grounds that no weapons other than your body can be used for combat. No force, no swords, no guns. Ben agrees. They then fight. During their combat, Rey is making fun of how Ben isn't easily beating him through the whole Force FaceTime thing that her and Ben have. Rey and Kin are currently nearby in the X-Wing, hiding within an asteroid. Ben finally beats Bor Vizsla, and the leader asks what information Ben seeks. Ben says House Vul, which causes the leader to instantly change character and demand the other Mandalorians to leave the room. He turns to Ben and is about to say something, but then is shot through the wall by an attacker named Nerith. Like and follow for more parts. Amp then dies, which causes Luke to charge the Goric commander and ask why they would lead such a foolish attack. The Gorics knew that they were going to easily be crushed by the GDA. The commander says how the Gorics are a species of honor. The GDA attacked them first, and they had no other choice but to retaliate. Luke is confused as he never heard of an initial GDA strike against the Gorics, but before Luke can ask any other questions, Nentra takes the Goric leader away as a prisoner of war as the Gorics have just surrendered. The scene now shifts, and a lone escape pod is floating in space and is uptaken by a larger ship. In the ship, the escape pod is surrounded by several Mandalorians, and out of the pod outsteps Ben Solo, and he asks to see the House Vizsla Mandalorian leader that he knows is on board. The Mandalorians accept Ben's request, as they know Ben is an enemy of the GDA, as well as they are. Ben is brought up to the Vizsla's leader's chambers. The House Vizsla leader introduces himself as Bor Vizsla, and introduces himself and instantly challenges Bor Vizsla to single combat that he knows Bor must accept by the Mandalorian code. Bor laughs and asks why. Ben says that if he loses, he will give Bor his lightsabers, but if he wins, Bor must give him some information. Bor laughs again and asks what information is worth fighting a Mandalorian house leader for. Ben just replies, "I guess you'll have to wait till I beat you to find out." The House Vizsla leader accepts, on the grounds that no weapons other than your body can be used for combat. No force, no swords, no guns. Ben agrees. They then fight. During their combat, Rey is making fun of how Ben isn't easily beating him through the whole Force FaceTime thing that her and Ben have. Rey and Kin are currently nearby in the X-Wing, hiding within an asteroid. Ben finally beats Bor Vizsla, and the leader asks what information Ben seeks. Ben says House Vul, which causes the leader to instantly change character and demand the other Mandalorians to leave the room. He turns to Ben and is about to say something, but then is shot through the wall by an attacker named Narek. Ben tells Rey that Bor was shot by someone through the wall. Rey says that she and Kin got it and that Ben needs to get the information from Bor. Rey then turns on the X-Wing and flies it forward and blasts out the asteroid that was hiding near the House Vizsla ship. Rey then senses where Narek, the shooter, is, and uses the X-Wing's blade to open a hole in the side of the House Vizsla ship, causing Narek to fly out into space. Narek then tow cables onto the X-Wing. Kin then puts on a spacesuit to go on the outside of the X-Wing to duel him. Kin guesses that this Mandalorian she is dueling is probably part of House Vul, otherwise why would he try to prevent them from getting information about House Vul? Narek and Kin fistfight on the outside of the X-Wing as Rey pilots it, and just as Kin seems to have the upper hand, a space limousine-looking ship shows up and fires at the X-Wing. And in the chaos, Narek jetpacks to the limousine ship and gets in it as it hyperspeeds away instantly. So as Rey and Kin are fighting Narek, Bor, the House Vizsla leader, pulls Ben in and tells him, House Vul is everywhere. They are the most powerful and secretive of all Mandalorian houses. They are an elite group of Mandalorians richer than the wealthiest man in the known galaxy. They have a golden planet that no one else can find except a House Vul member. Ben asks how to find one, and the leader states how House Vul has obviously infiltrated the GDA, and you can probably find one on Mandalore. And then he proceeds to die in Ben's arms. Ben then has to escape the House Vizsla ship, yet all the Mandalorians try to stop him as they assume it was him who killed Bor. Ben tries to not kill the Mandalorians and only knock them out using the Force to close doors on them and to throw walls at them, similar to how Maul did in the Clone Wars. Ben finally reaches the hangar of the ship, where Rey picks him up in the X-Wing and they hyperspeed away. Just as Ben leaves, a plethora of spaceships show up and blow up the House Vizsla ship. An hour or two passes and we're back to the House Vizsla ship, except it is completely destroyed. Poe, Phasma, and Nentra show up and do like a police investigation on the wreckage and find only one survivor. The survivor happens to be Narek, the House Vul Mandalorian that escaped Kin and Rey's clutches after killing Bor. Yet, the GDA doesn't know that. Narek then tells Phasma and Poe that it was Rey, Kin, and Ben who laid siege to their ship. Nentra then says how this is evidence that the GDA needs more firepower in order to fight these rogue Force users. Poe agrees and flies back to Mandalore with Phasma. Nentra then stays behind and secretly asks Narek what really caused this damage. Narek explains how he followed House Vul protocol. He killed Poe to prevent him from telling Ben about House Vul and escaped in a House Vul taxicab and called in an airstrike to rid the station of all evidence and survivors. Nentra is surprised Rey and Ben even know the name House Vul and swears that they better have learned nothing or else Narek is dead. This confirms that Nentra is indeed a Mandalorian of House Vul. On Mandalore, Poe calls for a meeting with all able-bodied bounty hunters. Ma shows up in a group with Lando, Chewie, and Zori in the Millennium Falcon, while many other bounty hunters show up in groups as well. Poe tells them all that galactic jurisdiction prevents him from the galactic searches he wishes to undertake to find Rey, Ben, and Kin. So he's putting out a bounty on all three of their heads for the bounty hunters to do what he can't. As they are all dismissed, Poe approaches Sam. the bounty hunter who lost his brother at Maz's castle, and tells him that he should probably hunt in a group. Being by himself puts him at a large disadvantage against such powerful force users. Sam looks at Poe and just smiles. Some of the bounty hunters at the meeting will be this guy that shoots poison grenades out of his gun. This guy can fire 6 guns at once as he has 4 robot arms with guns attached to them. This is a team of brawn brains and a guy with a charge-up sniper. This guy is also an amazing sniper. This guy is an advanced hunter robot. This green dude has vines for arms that have spikes as well. This guy has robot arms with metal claws, and this guy uses Meanwhile, on the X-Wing, Ben tells Rey and Kin what Bohr told him, and that they can probably find a House Vul member on Mandalore, yet it will be very difficult to infiltrate the GDA's main military planet. Rey says how Fisley, the hologram fanatic from the first movie, was hired as the GDA's head of Jedi and Sith history and research, and that he can possibly get them in. Rey says that when she and Fisley went to Tatooine to get Anakin's saber, they each had a hologram device that can communicate with one another if things went south. The gang decides it's worth the risk and call him. Fisley answers hesitantly, but when they mention House Vul, he quickly tells him to meet on Mandalore's docks in disguises. This is what those disguises look like, and Rey, Ben, and Kin all show up on the Mandalore docks in these suits. GDA soldiers approach them, yet Fisley arrives in a speeder and tells the guards to leave them alone, as they are here to be involved in his research. The guards don't look convinced, yet Fisley states how they must keep their helmets on or they'll die. The guards finally oblige and let them enter Mandalore. The gang then rides along to Fisley's lab. Before the gang arrives at the lab, they notice how Mandalore has expanded and how the dome once covering the planet is gone. Fisley comments how the GDA's new military turret system protects the city more than the dome ever did. The gang then finally arrives at the lab, and Fisley reveals how he has come across the name House Vul only a couple of times in his research, yet it was scarcely discussed and only regarded with fear and secrecy. Fisley tells him according to his research they are in control of the weapon manufacturing plants and continuously start wars through the puppet states, just to make money off the weapons they sell to both sides. House Vul members usually get positions of powers, so that way they can influence those that control the fight, therefore increasing their weapon sales. The gang decides they need to catch one before it calls in that space limo that Narek used to escape last time. Fisley states how the GDA is having a military meeting today, and if House Vul has truly infiltrated the GDA, then they will be there. They need to retrieve this member and escape without being caught by the GDA or the defense turret system. Ben and Kin will get the House Vul member, while Rey will disable the turret system. So Kin and Ben decide to infiltrate the military base on Mandalore in their disguises to find a House Vul member. They say the name House Vul to see if any Mandalorians react. Once they find one, Kin Force puts him to sleep. They carry his body out of the base and put him in a speeder, but it just so happens that Poe is arriving at the time for the military meeting. He sees the suspicious behavior and confronts them. This leads to Ben having to force push Poe away, so then he knows it's them as they zoom off in their speeder. During this time, Rey has infiltrated the AI base by simply mind controlling all the guards to kill themselves. This gives Rey a much darker vibe to climax with her using Force Lightning to blow up the AI turret generator. Rey then jumps out of the building's top floor and into the speeder driven by Ben and Kin. With no AI turrets, Poe has no choice but to call in the bounty hunters to apprehend the criminals. The next scene I can only describe as the Matrix Reloaded highway car chase scene, but Star Wars. Various bounty hunters with various weapons will try to attack Rey, Kin, and Ben, zooming throughout Mandalore in their speeder. There's going to be a lot of moving parts in this scene. One example is this bounty hunter here who deals in toxins will shoot one of his pellets at Kin, who's driving the speeder, which will put her to sleep. Rey then has to force lightning/shock her to wake her up, leaving her with a nasty scar. Maz, Chewie, Lando, and Zori will fly in on the Millennium Falcon, and Ben and Rey have to force collapse an entire building in order to swat them away. The only ship that is still following them is Sam, the brother out for revenge. This guy is a tech wizard and his ship goes hard. His ship can actually transform into a stationary mode with both wings now turrets, and this damages the speeder pretty badly. Ben does hit the ship with a lightsaber throw and Sam's ship crashes, but he's not done. As he jumps out, he puts on some tech armor and Lucio blades across Mandalore's building's rooftops after Sam finally catches up to the runaway speeder and then attacks Ben with his 2 electro blades. Sam is quite the formidable foe. Not only is he skilled in combat, but he also has various little robots that will zap Ben while also providing Sam with more armor. While this duel is commencing, Rey is still blasting GDA and other bounty hunter ships with her Force Lightning, and Kin is still driving the nearly destroyed speeder. Ben finally pushes Sam off the speeder, and Sam lands unharmed on the ground. This will not be the end of their feud. Finally, Ben, Rey, and Kin reach the X-Wing with the unconscious House Vul member, and just as they're about to hop on the ship, a sniper bullet pierces the Mandalorian's chest and he dies. The gang looks up to see a Mandalorian sniper on the rooftop nearby who calls in the House Vul emergency exit taxi. Kin force holds the ship in place for Ben and Rey to commandeer and escape in, as Kin is left on Mandalore, arrested by the GDA. Rey and Ben then take control of the House Vul ship and let it take him to its autopilot destination, the Golden Planet, House Vul's homeworld. Yet when the ship exits hyperspace, they behold a polluted planet, the skyline lined with smoke and ash from factories and weapon manufacturers. Confused, they let the ship take its course, to which it arrives to a suspicious hole in the ground protected by large metal doors. The ship slowly enters the hole, which causes the doors to open and reveal a passageway. The ship proceeds down the shallow tunnel and comes to what Rey and Ben were seeking, the Golden Planet Uzukis. See, House Vul accumulated so much wealth, making weapons and selling them to the Jedi-Sith War, that they were able to make their entire planet surface out of gold and other decadent features. Yet they feared others would use their weapons against them to steal their wealth, so they constructed an artificial planetary layer above them, encasing them in a shell of factories, so no one would come looking for wealth at a dirty, ragged planet. Ben and Rey then let the ship land at a dock. They exit the ship and set foot on the Golden Planet. Most citizens of the city look very similar to the Casino Planet folks from the original cut of The Last Jedi. Everyone is super rich and snobbish, so Ben and Rey, they stick out like sore thumbs. They walk through the planet and decide to go towards the main spire building located ahead of them. As they go, the citizens turn away from them in disgust, and golden Mandalorian guards start to follow them. Once they reach the front of the building, Rey and Ben then have no other choice but to kill all of the guards. These House Vul Mandalorians don't see much combat, being too rich to have to fight, so they were pretty easy to wipe out. Cut to a golden throne room where a Mandalorian in crystal-like armor is informed by a guard that 2 Jedi have entered his planet. The crystal Mandalorian states to wake up his eternal protectors, and the golden Mandalorian guard runs. He enters a room with 2 large Bacta tanks side by side. He informs those within the tanks that they need to stop some intruding Jedi. Both figures in the tanks' eyes open, and the glass cracks and bursts open as the figures leap out. Rey and Ben invade the Golden Building and reach the Golden Throne Room located at the top. The crystal-armored Mandalorian sitting upon the throne congratulates them on knowing where to go to find the boss of the whole operation. Rey says how it was easy considering the guards are weak-minded and easily fear death, to which she ignites her lightsaber into the stomach of the guard in front of her. The Mandalorian goes on to reveal how he is the original House Vul member who came up with the Sith Jedi war plan, the one from the hologram Ben and Rey saw. The profits he gained from all those years amassed enough to give him expensive technology to give him seemingly eternal life. Ben says how his plan is to capture him and take him to the GDA, proving how the Sith and Jedi war was a lie. The Crystal Mandalorian laughs and says, "Well, good thing I'm not the only one here from 7,000 years ago." Out from behind his throne step the 2 figures from the Bacta tanks, a blue alien with tentacles on his head, while the other one looks kinda like Hellboy. Both have various tubes and technologies keeping them alive as well. They must be the original Jedi and Sith that agreed to the Jedi-Sith war. At this point, both Ben and Rey are attacked by the lightsaber-wielding individuals. Ben blocks a blow from the red lightsabered Hellboy-looking Sith, and Rey blocks an attack from the blue dude with a tail. Ben then duels the Sith, while Rey duels the Jedi. The lightsaber battle is epic as always in the Golden Throne Room, and the Jedi being highly nimble and using his tail to hold his lightsaber from time to time, and implementing some Mortal Kombat-like sparring with Rey. The Sith uses just powerful strokes to break Ben's stance. The Sith and Jedi are highly skilled, and it looks pretty bad for both Rey and Ben. The Sith then picks up Ben, says, "You've certainly got some darkness in you, but not enough to be a Sith." He then throws Ben across the throne room and presses a button that drops Ben into a chamber. The Sith then asks the Jedi if he needs any help fighting Rey. The Jedi laughs and says no, Rey is also not dark enough to kill a Jedi. The Sith then jumps in the chamber and follows where Ben fell. Down in the chamber, Ben opens his eyes to darkness. He turns on his lightsabers as they are his only source of light and notes large red kyber crystals floating in the room. The Sith then drops in and ignites his red saber, tells Ben how he comes down here to fuel his eternal rage, causing the red kyber crystals to burn red. The Sith then says how this will be Ben's tomb. Ben then attacks the Sith. Cut to Rey, who's getting thrown across the room left and right by the Jedi mocking her. Once again, not looking good for the dyad duo. In the dark chamber, Ben decides to turn off his saber so the Sith can't see him till Ben's about to strike. Ben then ignites his sabers to go in for the kill, yet the Sith blocks them and says, "I can sense your rage anywhere within this room. Light or not, I know where you are." The Sith then continues to easily pair Ben's strikes. In the dark chamber, Ben realizes that if he calms his rage, the Sith won't see him coming. So Ben calms down and then goes in and actually hits the Sith. Since they are a dyad, Ben turning more to the light side results in Rey turning more to the dark side. Balance. She then gets out of a lightsaber lock with the Jedi and then starts to hammer heavy hits against him, cutting off his tail. And almost simultaneously, Ben jumps up and decapitates the Sith, and Rey gets a lucky strike and slashes, killing the Jedi. Rey is left standing in the golden throne room with eyes glowing yellow and her lightsaber now burning red, and turns to the crystal Mandalorian. Rey then charges the House Vul leader and stabs him, yet her blade cannot pierce his armor. He laughs as two large crystals slide out from his arms as blades. It's a little known fact that the lightsabers cannot pierce pure kyber crystal. Only problem is having enough money for that amount of kyber. But as you can see, that's not a problem for me. He then charges Rey. The fight between Rey and the kyber-coated House Vul leader is long and epic, but near the end, the king has the upper hand and slashes, destroying Rey's lightsaber hilt, so it's reduced to the red kyber crystal and metal scraps. The king is about to kill Rey, but Rey's eyes turn yellow and she stabs the king with her kyber crystal, which is strong enough to break the king's armor. She then screams and the crystal glows red and a literal laser shoots from the crystal through the king, and the House Vul king falls to the ground dead. Ben Solo enters the room as Rey is above the king and congratulates her, but then he sees her eyes yellow and with a red kyber crystal. Rey? Ben asks. Rey does not reply and turns towards the window overlooking the golden planet and blasts it with force lightning, sending Ben flying back, knocking him out. Ben wakes up to find Rey gone and a bunch of House Vul guards coming in to arrest him. This is the end of my second original Star Wars movie.